mysterious Five Nights at Freddy's game just got a full-blown trailer along with a ton of other teasers and games, and I think I know what they all mean. So if you haven't watched my last couple FNAF news videos, they've specifically been about new Five Nights at Freddy's games coming in the future. First, Steelwood Studios, the developers of FNAF Security Breach, seemed to be teasing something on their Twitter that ultimately meant nothing. But then more recently, the Twitter account for the developers Click Team, the devs who created all the console and mobile ports for the original FNAF games, posted up a tweet saying they needed help with an Unreal Engine project and were hiring new employees. Below showing an entirely new render of Lolbit, but in a completely new design, art style, and location. Now, people have theorized a lot about what this game could be. I said I thought it could be either just a completely new project or maybe a FNAF World 2. However, all the developers told us when we asked about it was that it was a secret project and that they couldn't tell us anything. So clearly the developers are being super suspicious and seem like they're planning something, but that's pretty much where my last video left off. However, things begin to get really weird on October 31st, Halloween, as the developers over at Click Team made a tweet saying Happy Halloween, and below linked a brand new trailer for a brand new game simply titled Happy Halloween 2023. And in this trailer, we see what appears to be a stuffed animal of Bonnie and Freddy that stands as a still shot with lightning in the background for over 2 minutes, which is extremely odd. And if you brighten this up, you'll also get to see a couple of other notable things like a flashlight up here, which we may get to use in the game, and also on the left there are some checkered walls suggesting this is inside some sort of pizzeria. And this trailer, while seemingly simple in concept, brought up millions of questions. What in the world is this? What is it for? Is it even a game? And what is it going to be about? And this isn't even the only teaser we've gotten for this game, as other people have pointed out that earlier this year on April 14th of 2023, Click Team had posted a new Ultimate Custom Night mobile update, which of course is pretty standard and didn't raise too many eyebrows. However, what did was the background still of this video that showed off a brand new pizzeria type area with extremely dark, cold, and blue colors, sharing the same exact art style, lighting, and color themes of this teaser we got here 6 months later for Halloween. And furthermore, if you put up the brightened teaser by this other image, we could see that the wall design and even the wide looking doors are all the same with both of these images, essentially confirming they are 100% part of the same title, and this was meant to be a super early tease of whatever they were working on. But what makes this whole situation a whole lot weirder is at the time of this teaser releasing all the way back in April, Click Team was actually asked about what it meant, and they simply said it was a mock-up for a game idea that they had for the past, and simply just repurposed it for the trailer, I guess just for fun. Which is a super odd way to write off this render, because it sort of implies that the project is canceled, but then it doesn't really explain why a few months later here in October we are getting dedicated teasers to what appears to be the same exact game. And the rabbit hole goes even deeper when going back to Click Team's Twitter, where they initially posted this trailer. In the comments they would clarify the trailer was made using Click Team's Fusion 2.5 engine, a development software used to create the original FNAF games, similar to things like Unreal Engine or Unity. Which is even more strange when you remember at the beginning of this video when I mentioned the devs were putting up job listings for a new FNAF project, saying that they specifically needed Unreal Engine developers, not Click Team developers. Meaning that whatever this project here is with Lolbit made in Unreal Engine was completely separate from this other project and trailer made in Click Team Fusion 2.5. Essentially telling us that the developers were working on not just one, but 2 games at the same time. The one FNAF World 2 looking game from the last video, and now this brand new untitled FNAF game we have just been given. But then, what in the world is this brand new game going to be? While looking at our only 2 screenshots, we could tell just from the lighting and design that this is very much in the classic FNAF style seen in the older games, with a super dark blue-ish atmosphere similar to what games like Sister Location used as their art style as well, which makes a lot of sense since Click Team's engine was where the first few FNAF games were all made from. And furthermore, while there could be more locations, based on our only 2 teasers for the game, it appears that like older FNAF games, this is going to take place inside of a single pizzeria, and possibly may even feature classic characters like Freddy and Bonnie in the second screenshot, and the other 2 you've seen in paintings in the first one. Which, with all this information, gives me two possible long-shot theories for what this game could potentially be. And the first one is that it could be a fully new game in the franchise in a new location. Since looking at the area, like we said, it's clearly of a pizzeria that we have actually never seen before. And so therefore, quite simply, this may be a new FNAF game and could continue the storyline in a new way after Security Breach Ruin. But while this theory is cool, it's rather unlikely because while Click Team and its engine are good for smaller games like the older FNAF titles, they probably wouldn't be put in charge of a full new game in the franchise, especially considering the last Security Breach titles set the standards so much higher for what a FNAF title should look like. On the other hand, while this will sound crazy, the second theory, and the theory I think is right, is that this could possibly be some type of Five Nights at Freddy's remaster. Since Click Team, as we said, right now is currently only being used to develop ports of the older FNAF games onto other consoles, so they have a lot of experience with the original FNAF IP and how the camera horror system works, and looking again at the given teasers, they portray a very classic FNAF style even though it's in a completely new area. And furthermore, what really makes me believe in this theory is that earlier in the year when they told us about the first teaser, they told us that the render was for a concept of a game that they didn't want to waste, suggesting at the time the game was cancelled. But then fast forward to October, the game is being teased on Halloween like it's about to come out. So what happened between April and Halloween that turned it from cancelled to coming up soon? Well, in my opinion, I think that in 2019, when Click Team was first picked up to make the Five Nights at Freddy's ports, they might have also had the idea of creating some sort of uncanon remaster to the games. However, if you didn't know, in 2020, Cawthon created the Fazbear Fanverse initiative that gave fan game developers funding to release their own games while Click Team was hired to be their publishers. And one of the games in this initiative was, funny enough, Five Nights at Freddy's Plus, a fan-made remaster to the original Five Nights at Freddy's. So if my theory is correct and this game was meant to be a remaster, it would make obvious sense as to why they would scrap this project at the time, as they were already working on a separate remaster in FNAF Plus. But then mid-summer of this year, for a bunch of different reasons, FNAF Plus got completely canceled and had its Steam page removed, confirming it was out of development. And then just a couple months later, we get a full-blown trailer for this game that was previously listed as canceled, leading me to believe that Click Team was working on some sort of Five Nights at Freddy's remaster in their own engine, had to cancel it to work on other games like FNAF Plus, and then once that game was put out of the picture, they were able to work on it again. I don't know, it's definitely a stretch and it's not very likely, but based on what we have now, that seems like the most plausible option. And also, the devs are even working on a third game seemingly based on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, since if you go to their website, click the FNAF movie advert, then click play on a glitching movie sign, you are brought to a FNAF movie separate site, that when clicking on a flashing bulb in the bottom right reveals another teaser for another new game, which this time looks like it'll be based on the FNAF movie judged from the similar office to the one in the film. So to me, it looks like there are 3 FNAF games coming in the near future. A FNAF World 2, a Five Nights at Freddy's remaster, and a FNAF movie game as well, which all might release next year with it being the 10th anniversary of the game. But what do you think all these are, and which one are you the most excited for?